right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful day. It was an absolute wild one, even though the market didn't move, and it is just because of the headlines. So we got a lot to talk about. I'm sure you already saw this headline. Michael Burry bought the bank stocks. My guy was gambling $4 million on FRC. We'll talk about that a little bit. Yellen gave a warning, and this is going to lead into everything because, once again, the debt ceiling is back into place, but there was a bunch of other headlines. I got a lot going on. I got the chain on today next to the bull. So you got bull next to bull. I was going to use the $20 bill for the thumbnail. I was going to show you this. It was actually a fun fact. If you guys didn't know, every Treasury Secretary, they sign your money. So Yellen got one, Munchkin got one, and this is Mr. Jacob Liu. Series 2013. This $20 bill is from 2013. Look at that. Oh, and Chick-fil-A got a new cup. I told you, I'll bring you breaking news, man, but look at that. It's a new cup by Chick-fil-A. It's called the Extra Late. Okay, this ain't a sponsored post. But anyways, what I'm trying to tell you, there was a lot of stuff today. Even beyond that, the Michael Burry news, a lot of people were focusing on that. We got to hear about other 13Fs, and some of them caused movement, but there was a lot of other event-driven headlines like Amazon getting involved in AI, even becoming a competitor. There was like Delta and Airbus, and then there was another update again on the debt ceiling. So that's pretty much what we got today. A lot of different news, a lot of movement to end up going nowhere. And I think this is reinforcing the theory that this Friday with Powell, I mean, we might have to wait till after that moment to get some movement because a lot is hanging on there. Now, before I get into it though, I'm gonna start with this because I kept saying it today and I really like it. I believe it was from Scott Kaiser. He said this today on Bloomberg, and he was saying, why the market is being range bound right now is you got to think about it. At 4,200 on the SPX, if you want to buy the S&P right now and are looking for just a 10% return from 4,200, you are implying that the market will then go to 4,600, whether that be by the end of the year or even 12 months from now, halfway into 2024. But I thought that was a very interesting take, but the whole point is you have to have noticed it. We have been at the same range for a long time, and everybody's asking when we're going to move. We brought this up yesterday. We said take a look at after the option expirations. Like last year, there was kind of a history of movement. So, Chad, that's all we got today, but let's get into what happened. So here's today. We gapped up a little bit, then we sold off, and then we kind of melted up throughout the day. But the real big driver from the morning, it was a couple of things. Remember, one, this whole week is all Fed speakers. We had 4 Fed speakers today in the pre-market. Austin Goolsbee, Chicago. He is a voter, and he said something very interesting. One, people thought he was going to be the guy who dissented, and he even addressed that and said it was a close call. So that was an interesting take. But beyond that, the other thing he said, which was kind of bullish, he said that the market was right to price in lower interest rates in response to SVB. So that was bullish. But then the other thing, Mr. Biden made some statements about the debt ceiling, and the market received it very well in terms of these conversations we were having. Now, this is where it gets interesting because you get this little melt up throughout the day. You had some little drops. We actually had bad debt ceiling news throughout the day. So that's what got us up in the morning, the good debt ceiling news. And then middle of the day, McCarthy said nothing is happening, nothing is changing. There has been no progress on it. And then Yellen, she gave an update saying, yeah, we're actually running out of money. The Treasury balances came out on Friday, and now the Treasury has $88 billion left. We pretty much have now $88 billion and 15 or 16 days left of time, and that's where everything is about to go crazy. So that was a big deal, and this is where now maybe the volatility might come up, and that's why even gold kind of moved around a little bit today. But we had all this in the morning. Again, the Fed speakers were talking good debt ceiling, negative debt ceiling news didn't make us react. And then throughout the day, you had other Fed speakers, Kashkari in the morning, and then I think Harkin. They both said the same thing. Inflation is way too high. And they said it got to be data dependent. Didn't really comment too much. Harker was a little bit more bearish. And then Bostic, he's not a voter, but he said the P word. He said pause, but market kind of didn't really react. Again, we have traded exactly how we traded for the last 20 days. I can't stress this enough. So there was all of that. It was just a lot of different things. I told you some of those news headlines there in the morning, but there was all of this stuff, a little bit of positive China overnight. But then, like I'm saying, it all really is now boiling down to the debt ceiling, because some people are assuming, like I was telling you, about a week or two ahead. After we get through this week, we have the expiration. Then after that, it's about 2 full weeks until the event. People are waiting for the markets to react. And now, even after today and watching the lack of reaction, I think this is just showing lack of reaction from the Fed speakers and kind of the debt ceiling up and then no reaction throughout the day. But I think it's all going to boil down to Powell. I think John Williams Thursday and Friday, he may be able to move the markets just because he's the number 2 next to Powell. But up until Friday on Powell, if Powell does not say anything notable, new development, I don't think we're going to go anywhere, and I would not be surprised to dance between 4,100 and 4,200 up until we get into next week, and then volatility and other stuff start to pick up leading into the debt ceiling. So that's what I'm going to talk about in terms of plays, but the final thing tomorrow, you do have data, you have retail sales in the morning, and then you have industrial production, and then a couple of other things, and then again, real estate data throughout the week. It could move things, but even this morning, Empire Fed Manufacturing, oh my goodness, you have Fed Services tomorrow, but Fed Manufacturing absolutely collapsed, and we didn't really react to that. Again, kind of the sentiment in the morning was good. It did help that China was decent, and we actually held up. That's the first China pop in the morning that actually held. So there was all of that, but now, Chad, let's talk about the good stuff. We got to get into the plays, and it relates to Young Treasury right here. Again, the debt ceiling. Yellen came out, and she was given an update on the X date, and it's quite simple. If we're looking like we're not moving much, the range has been small, I think it's a safe bet, kind of, to bet on nothing happening until we get the right catalyst with, like, Powell. But the way I'm looking at it is once we get through this week, it will increasingly be in focus now of the debt ceiling. So 2 ways to play it. We've been talking a lot about bonds. Today, I want to talk now about gold. I brought this up yesterday. We talked about dabbling with it a little bit. I tried my first future on it. We made a flip, but this is now a play I'm going to be looking at pretty much from the end of this week. We're warming up on it by this week, but I think really coming into next week, both gold and bonds, I may want to even close out of my bond position this week. I'm still short on it, and then we wait to see what happens with the debt ceiling, but the idea is here, coming into now the debt ceiling, I think all of the IV will pick up. So again, we talk bonds, we talk gold. Another thing some people are discussing is just straight up the VIX even goes up leading into this. So those are the plays I'm going to be watching, and my plan is pretty much buy gold and sell out before the debt ceiling gets resolved, because again, if it does get resolved, I think it's positive. Gold will get clapped, bonds will get clapped, even the VIX will get clapped, but the idea is leading into it, kind of treat it like earnings. I think leading into the earnings, which is sad because this is a default on the United States of American debt, but into the earnings, you could pretty much play the volatility and flip it, and that's something we're noticing every single week, man. We've already made videos on this. People are talking about it more, and the chart just keeps playing out, whether it's the SPX or the VIX. So the fact we're still talking about it, you're waking up with, oh yeah, talks are good, and then the speaker is like, no, they're not. And then Yellen, meanwhile, is writing a letter every day and like, yo, we really only have 14, 15 days and $88 billion. Like, we actually are going to run out of money. That's where it starts to get important. And then again, everybody is saying government will not respond until the market responds. And well, maybe we're getting close to that. So that was the main event with everything. I'm really just going to be watching those plays again, still in bonds. I closed that oil play this morning. We made some money on it. It even ended up higher, news of SPR. I got a micro oil play. We're playing Baidu for earnings again, and Michael Burry. So if you didn't see this too, that was the big thing. He's taking losses on a couple of these. He has like $20 million between JD and Baba. But again, he bought all the bank stocks. He bought Wells Fargo. He bought Western Alliance. What was it? Huntington Beach Bancorp or whatever it was. Or Western, one of those beach Bancorps. Again, I'm not looking at it right now, but you see the screenshot. But he bought all the banks, and here's the main thing. Remember his little fiasco Michael Burry went from saying, sell everything, I'm wrong to sell. And then now during this quarter, based on this 13F, this is one of his biggest buys in years. He added $60 million worth of stock. So up until his last filing, he had about $40 million in assets that he was holding in terms of equity. After this filing, he has like $104 million now. So pretty wild. We'll see how this plays out. Again, I think that could change the narrative a little bit, but now, we're almost halfway through. We got to justify a couple things. If you think there's 10% of upside left in the market, if you think there's a 10% rally, you're saying we're going within 5% of all-time highs. And well, where really has the narrative shifted? We'll see. Maybe Powell, maybe the pause, but either way, I think we're going to get some this week. And if it's not this week, it's definitely next week after the expiration. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate healthy, ready to go. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you to remember you're blessed. And guess what? If you don't believe it, it don't matter. That's it. If you don't got the belief, what happened? You got to believe in everything. That's what they call conviction. You think I'm even talking philo? I'm even talking plays, bro. This goes down to the market and everything in life, baby. So you got to believe. I hope you believe, Chad. And I hope you got the stamina. And make sure that you pace yourself, because it's already been 5 months. Again, here's the chart just to end it. We got 5 more months, and then it's 2024, and then who knows what 2020, then 2020, then you're almost halfway done with the 20s. Oh my gosh, then it's almost 2030, and then you're gonna talk, that's it, Chad. But I love you, okay? That's it, don't let me go crazy. Isn't this weird? I don't like the bull on bull. They get me weird out, but I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling, I'm feeling blessed. I hope you're blessed. I'm not gonna make it weird, I'm gonna talk to you. I had a straight conversation with the Chick-fil-A guy. Actually, let's dissect this. It's a new cup. It's like a cup within a cup, bro. It's like, man, the Lord has protected this cup. Okay, man, I can't, honestly, man, okay, here it is. They don't want us to know the secret. Oh, what? Dang, it's a double cup, bro. Dang, it's just a double, dang, you got a double cup, Chick-fil-A. It's gonna be in a rap video. I made it awkward. I'm a weirdo, okay, I'm leaving. Horn.